Hello YouTube, Bane666 here. So let's continue with the list of supposed MRA terms as told to us by the witless bitches. Sorry, I meant the witty bitches. "24 slut."
She's a slut and she knows it. She wants to root all the boys.
Okay, so what's the definition of slut? That would be something that women often call other women who they dislike. That's how I've mainly heard the term slut used. Is one woman will refer to another woman behind her back as a slut because she's jealous or dislikes her. Now, obviously, not only women use the term slut, and it is even occasionally used to describe males. So let's look at her definition.
All women. Every single one of us.
Okay, so, absolute fucking straw man here. Let's continue.
Especially the ones who actually admit to enjoying sex, but throw in the rest just to be safe.
Oh, straw man. Such a straw man.
Yep, nothing but fucking straw there. Absolute fucking bullshit. So let's see if slut appears in the MGTOW Glossary. I'm guessing it is going to. I'd be surprised if it doesn't.
Any woman who gives a man complete sexual access without first securing proof of that man's commitment to providing ongoing resources, regardless of how frequently or infrequently she engages in such behavior. For the male version of a slut, see White Knight.
I don't agree with the MGTOW definition of slut here, particularly the end bit for a male version of slut. See White Knight. No. I'd say a male version of slut is player, basically, or male slut, which I've heard before. Now, look, if a woman wants to sleep around, that's her business. It's none of mine. Who a woman sleeps with is none of my fucking business, unless I'm in a relationship with her, of course. Obviously, cheating is an entirely different thing. But if you're single and you're slutting around, whether you're male or female, who gives a shit, really? I mean, it's your life, it's your choice. If you're smart, you're going to do it with by using protection, right? Because obviously, with the more people you sleep with, you increase the risk of getting sexually transmitted diseases. But once again, that's your business, it's none of mine. What you do with your body is your own fucking business, as far as I'm concerned. So let's go on with the next one. 25, snowflake. Well, I'm guessing this is the same thing as special snowflake. So I guess my definition of a special snowflake would be someone who can't handle criticism, who can throw as much hate and criticism at everyone else as she can. Usually a she in these cases when the term snowflake is used. And the minute someone reacts or criticizes her actions, she falls into victim mode and will start crying and playing the victim. And it's usually, oh, you're just attacking me because I'm a woman or some bullshit like that. Totally unaware of her actions or her words and how she's attacked other people. Like no self-awareness whatsoever. So as a special snowflake is very narcissistic, very self-centered, doesn't really have empathy for other people's feelings. It's all about her. But let's see what her definition is.
Any woman who tried to convince a man she's special, unique, or wife material.
Yeah, that doesn't really hit the nail on the head, does it? I mean, I think there's a bit of a difference between someone being special and someone being narcissistic and thinking that they're special and no one else is. Right? That's called self-centered. Okay? But let's continue with her definition.
Similar to the cool girl in feminist lingo, but instead of downplaying her love of Oprah and Lifetime movies, the snowflake is downplaying her love of the cock carousel and the making porno movies.
Yeah, I find that weird. maybe she got this from the MGTOW thing. Let's go have a look.
A woman who tries to persuade a man that she's somehow unique, different, or special by playing up her good girl resume and downplaying her bad girl resume. When used as a verb, snowflaking refers to the argument she puts forth to justify her claim. Coined by the blogger Solomon II.
I don't know about this definition. Maybe snowflake and special snowflake are two different things. I don't know, but if they're meant to be the same thing, then I wouldn't entirely agree with that definition. Okay, let's go on with the next one. 26. Spotlighter. I don't know, maybe someone who wants the spotlight, I'm guessing. Let's see what her definition is.
What MRAs call an attention seeker. See also, attention whore and drama queen.
Okay, so a spotlighter is a attention whore or drama queen. Okay, let's continue with her definition.
Any woman with a vocal opinion that isn't, why, yes, I'll give you a sandwich and a blowy.
And here we have the perfect straw man. Clearly this author is totally unaware of the very vocal, opinionated women in the men's rights movement. Okay, we don't go around calling the honey badgers attention whores or drama queens because they're vocal and opinionated. We respect them because they're intelligent, strong, opinionated women. Although, actually, the women part has nothing to do with it. So I'm guessing this term comes from the MGTOW Glossary yet again, and I'm right.
Also referred to as an attention whore, the spotlighter works to ensure that every male spotlight in her theater is focused solely on her. Coined by blogger Solomon II.
Yeah, and there are women like that. There are definitely women like that. And to be fair, there's men too. So, believe it or not, there are actually attention whores in the world. And a lot of them are online. Amazing, isn't it? The next one, 27, is white knight. Alright, let me give you my definition. Okay, so a white knight is someone who will defend a woman in a way that they won't defend a man. Now, there's two possible reasons why a white knight might do this. Well, three if you include they want to get laid, right? Which in a lot of cases, probably most cases, I don't think is the main motivation. So let's concentrate on the other two. The first one is that they have somewhat of a traditional view of gender roles, even though they may consider themselves a progressive modern-day feminist who, wants to destroy traditional gender roles, and they want to make men and women equal in every way. They will then go out of their way and protect women as they see women being weaker and in need of protection. This is fucking traditionalism. That's exactly what they're doing. They see women as being weaker and incapable of defending themselves, and therefore needing a big, strong man to step in and defend them. That is what fucking traditional gender roles is based upon, you morons. And I've actually seen Kevin Logan do this quite a few times, which is funny, considering he claims to be so against gender roles. Yet he's the first one to white knight. The other type of white knight, the second category of white knight, the second reason behind it is they see women as superior. And they're acting like bodyguards, basically. Like you would have bodyguards to protect the president because the president is important. Well, apparently women are more important than men, and therefore it's perfectly okay for a man to, dive in front of the bullet and protect a woman from any type of criticism or abuse whatsoever. It is their job to, dive in front of that bullet and protect that woman no matter what. So I don't think either of these behaviours are particularly good if you're actually interested in equality between men and women. We should live in a society where women can take fair criticism and can defend themselves. Now, it's an interesting thing that the women in the men's rights movement do exactly that. I mean, have you ever seen Karen before? She's not afraid to tackle criticism, and she's not afraid to defend herself. And she doesn't need someone stepping in and defending her. She doesn't need someone white knighting her. That's gender equality right there. What a white knight does is not fucking gender equality. It's either treating women as helpless victims or treating them as superior beings. Either one is not equality. Now, look, if you see someone being treated unfairly and you want to speak out for them, that's fine. I've got no problem with that. But what I ask is that you be fucking consistent. Okay? If you're going to do that for females, do it for males as well. Alright? Who are being treated exactly the same way. If your only concern, though, is to step in and defend women because they're women, then you're a fucking white knight and a hypocrite. And you're not in favour of gender equality. That fucking simple. But let's go on to see what her definition of a white knight is, because I'm sure it's going to be extremely fucking interesting.
Non-MRA men.
Oh, it's a non-MRA. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Oh, jeez. So going by her definition, going by her very words here, you could have a misogynistic male who hates women, but doesn't agree with the men's rights movement, who isn't part of the men's rights movement. And apparently this misogynistic male who hates women and routinely attacks them would be a white knight. That is fucking crazy. But let's continue with her definition, because I'm sure it just gets fucking crazier.
Most of the definitions of white knight I've come across mention chivalry numerous times. In fact, MRAs in general seem to have an obsession with labeling stuff normal people would call basic politeness as chivalry, as if every guy who opens the car door for a woman or, doesn't date rape her, is a self-hating relic from a bygone, man-hating era.
Yeah, look, basic politeness. Yeah, but when you have a standard of basic politeness which only applies to women and not to men, that's what we like to call a double standard, you moron. Okay? That's not equality, for fuck's sake. Just fucking unbelievable. And let me guess, there is a definition on MGTOW Glossary. I wonder what they've got to say.
Any man who believes the sun rises and sets based solely on female approval. He gives a woman complete access to his resources without first securing proof of that woman's willingness to provide ongoing sexual resources, regardless of how frequently or infrequently he engages in such behavior. A white knight will fall over himself for female attention, affection and approval with ridiculous displays of chivalry, and will even make an offer to purchase her attention with a meal, favors, or even engage in male-bashing behavior. Having enough low self-esteem to think of his very life as disposable for female comfort and convenience, he believes he is better than other men who simply don't lower themselves, or compromise their virtues, while kneeling for female validation and acceptance.
Some of this I would agree with. The bits about wanting female approval, I think does play a major role in white knighting. Those bits I would agree with totally. So let's go on to the next one. 28, whore. I think that would be most people who work in journalism these days, wouldn't it? Is that an accurate definition of a whore? Let's see what her definition is.
Woman who won't have sex until she gets what she wants. Apparently not the same thing as woman who has sex for money or goods. See also, slut.
And then she goes on to quote the MGTOW site. Surprisingly,
according to MGTOW, a whore deliberately withholds her affection and attention until some other unrelated price is paid or condition is met first. However, she can only be open for business for as long as she can convince a man that he wants, and needs, sex more than she does.
Now obviously she's quoting from a MGTOW site which doesn't represent the men's rights movement, but you know, ignorance is bliss, I guess. So let's continue with her definition.
How this is different than your typical sex worker-client relationship is beyond me, but MRAs swear that these actual whores are at least honest, whereas modern whores aka all women, are nothing more than undercover hoes.
Yeah, I think what you mean there is these MGTOWs, not MRAs. But let's continue.
The never-buzz bitches, MRA. According to your average, fedora-humping MRA, all females are dishonest, worthless skanks who still won't sleep with him even though he's clearly a mental Adonis.
So more fucking stereotypes and bullshit. That's all she's fucking got. Now, admittedly, there is an extremist element of MGTOW, which I've heard referred to women as worthless, dishonest skanks and the rest of it. And it's the men's rights movement calling out that element of MGTOW, which caused a rift between the two movements in the first place. Yet somehow this is attributed to men's rights activists. You know, she hasn't mentioned one actual men's rights issue. Not a single one. Everything she has mentioned has to do with getting laid and sex, right? And this is just a way to minimize men's rights issues, to dismiss them as nothing but men who can't get laid complaining about not getting laid, which it has nothing to do with men's rights, absolutely nothing. But it's a easy attack, it's a cheap attack, and once again it's a way of pulling down our sexual marketplace value. Oh, and I think that's it. I think we finished all of them so far. I'm sure there's a part 4 coming out somewhere in the future. There's still more terms on the MGTOW site for her to look at. But absolutely amazing. All she does is go to a MGTOW site, grab a handful of definitions, and then twists them to insinuate that they're typical MRA talking points, and totally ignoring the evidence in the same list that would suggest that men's rights activists, MGTOW and PUAs are all different. But this is just a cheap, easy way to attack men's rights without, really doing any effort, right? Without actually having to talk about actual issues. And this is what we see all the fucking time from feminists. Instead of talking about real issues, more often than not, they go for the cheap shot, for the false association, for the straw man argument, for the bullshit stereotype, because it's lazy, it's easy to do. I mean, if they try to talk about serious issues like male suicide, they try to dismiss male suicide, for example, they come across as the bigots that they are. So instead, they just try to distract. It's a propaganda war, basically. Anyway, that's it for now, folks. So always remember, whatever you do, don't drink the poison Kool-Aid that this bitch has been drinking. Please. Please don't. Okay? I'm begging you, really. It's just so fucking toxic. So since I originally recorded the audio for this video and the previous 3 in this series, there's been a number of updates. Firstly, the witty bitches are aware that I did a series of videos on them. They mentioned it on their Facebook account, and no, I'm not a super fan. You could call me a super critic maybe, but definitely not a super fan. And speaking of being critical, there will be future witty bitches videos, because they have yet another article which I want to pull apart called 5 Reasons You Should Date an MRA. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I should also mention that the term I used in a previous video, V-railing, is now in Urban Dictionary. Hopefully the term will take off and we hear V-railing commonly used. I think it's a good term. I think it does need to be commonly used. And then, of course, there are the conversations that went on in the comments section of the original article by the Witty Bitches. I think we should have a look at elements of this because it really is interesting. Now, I left a comment which said, So apparently, all we do is write articles about dating anorexic chicks, right? I mean, can you actually think of one single MRA who has ever done anything like that, has written any article even remotely like that? I can't. And I doubt there are any actual MRAs out there who have ever done anything like this. But of course, what she is referring to is people like Roosh V and those on Return of Kings. That's their style of article. But remember that according to her, there's no difference between MRAs and pickup artists, right? What a fucking hypocrite. Now I left a rather long reply to her comment. I'll let you click on the link below if you want to read it. Of course, she didn't reply to me because, I made valid points. And all she's got is bullshit. Now, Geppetto also replied to my comment, and Francis Loke replied to him, and I replied to her. So I'll leave you with some screenshots of that conversation because it really shows what a lying hypocrite she is. Feel free to click on the link below and go leave your own civil comment. Keep it civil because we don't want to give these people any ammo that they can twist into somehow, us trying to oppress them or something like that. Keep it civil, keep it logical, and then have a laugh when they try to somehow straw man and twist it and take things out of context. Because they will.
What about the name?